The situation keeps getting worse and worse for Marcus Rashford. More reports coming out that Marcus Rashford is set to be sold, some suggest in January. Some reports saying that Ruben Amorim has decided there's no way back for Marcus Rashford and Manchester United would be willing to offload him on the cheap in January. What has gone down? What is the situation? And is there any truth to these reports that it just might be over for Rashford? Amorim had enough potentially being kicked out of Manchester United. Garnacho is getting another chance. We'll talk about the Rashford Garnacho situation. But Amorim is being ruthless, and Sergeant Ratcliffe likes Amorim's ruthlessness. He wants to be different. He's going to back Ruben Amorim to be ruthless. We've got insight on the truth about the Ten Hag sacking. We've got insight on some fallouts going on. But also there's a huge investigation going on right now inside Manchester United into the leaks. Ruben Amorim was fuming that the team was leaked nearly 24 hours before the Manchester City match, which, let's be honest, is a complete disgrace. And huge investigations are ongoing. Certain players have been ruled out. We will dive into that later in today's video. But hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football. And welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news roundup, where I'm going to round up all the latest Manchester United news into a 10-minute video for you guys. If you do enjoy, please do go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new, you're welcome to subscribe. We are 411 subscribers away from the big 100k. But let's dive into the story. Marcus Rashford has been put up for sale. Manchester United are ready to sell him in January. Ruben Amorim has decided he needs to leave. The feeling at the club is that Rashford's time is up, said Jamie Jackson. He also said Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho were dropped by Ruben Amorim from the squad ahead of Sunday's derby against City, whereas a way back is possible for Garnacho, regarded as possible for Garnacho. The feeling at the club is that Rashford's time is bad. This is Jamie Jackson basically saying Ruben Amorim is done with Rashford. Ruben Amorim's only been in the door a month, and apparently he's just completely done with Marcus Rashford, decided there's no way back for him, and put him up for sale in January. Now, if this is the case, then I believe there's probably a little bit more to Rashford being dropped than just some training performances. There was obviously a lot of rumours about why Rashford and Garnacho were dropped from the squad and all of that. And we're not going to dive into the rumours. I'm sure we'll get more information on that, though, anyway, if those rumours are true. As of now, we've just been told it's to do with training performances, but Ruben Amorim did say there's certain things that players do outside of training that don't help them, which would link to some of the rumours going about. But what's been said is Rashford and Garnacho have been dropped. Ruben Amorim said, with the staff being sacked, he needs a high standard from his players. He dropped them because the standard wasn't there. And apparently Garnacho can work his way back in the side. But Man United, INEOS, Ruben Amorim have already decided that Rashford is going. Now, if true, that's very brutal because he's only been in the door a month and he said, I've had enough of Rashford. Now, if you know me, I'm a big fan of Marcus Rashford. 30 goals a season just 2 years ago. Massive fan of him. And I've always been of the hope that he will get back to his best. But if he doesn't get back to his best this season and he doesn't change up fast and change his attitude under Ruben Amorim, then as Rashford's biggest fan, I can't blame Ruben Amorim for wanting him gone. I generally thought that Ruben Amorim coming in would be the breath of fresh air for Rashford. We could get 30 goals Rashy back, but it doesn't look like it's going to go that way. And with the wages he's on, and if he doesn't pick up soon, 2 bad seasons in a row, INEOS will be brutal, Ruben Amorim will be brutal, and that's what they're going to have to do. It was said that United, because of Rashford's salary of 365k a week, which I don't know if it's accurate because apparently I read somewhere that's 290k a week, still a ridiculous amount, means that only a few clubs could afford him and maybe United would have to sell him on a cut price. Now, one report says because of FFP, him being an academy product, Ratcliffe's actually more keen to sell him. We'll talk about that in my live stream tomorrow, by the way. But it was said that Sergeant Ratcliffe insists there can be no passengers and is prepared to offload Rashford in January if suited emerge. Manchester United's willingness to take short-term pain for a long-term game also led to Dan Ashworth's exit after just 5 months. And one thing we've learned about INEOS is they're brutal with the staff. So if they are set to sell Rashford in January and prepared to sell Rashford in January, I wouldn't be shocked considering how brutal INEOS have been with the staff if they're going to do that with the players. It's said that Marcus Rashford faces a challenge to save his Manchester United future, with the club willing to cut ties with the forward if he does not elevate his standards on and off the pitch. Ruben Amorim has been unimpressed with Rashford's application on the training ground and his general demeanour, which has led to his admission on the squad yesterday. Now, interestingly, Garnacho was also, kicked out of the squad yesterday, and all the reports seem to focus on Rashford. Is there something more going on between Rashford and Amorim that maybe we don't know about yet? Or is it because writing it on Rashford's going to get more clicks and he's sort of the focus at the moment? I don't know. United scouts said United are generally open to moving on Rashford. United feel his wage does not match his performance. We know INEOS do want to get rid of the high earners, and they, if they're cutting down stuff, they want to do the same with the player and would look for 40 to 45 million. It was then said in regards to just other things, and as far as I'm aware, Rashford and Garnacho have nothing to do with the leaks, and them being dropped has nothing to do with the leaks, by the way, and this is a completely different story. But in terms of other news, it was said that Ruben Amorim wasn't happy with Manchester United's starting 11 being leaked because he felt it could undermine his team's chance of victory. Absolutely fair. Disgraceful that it was leaked. And Samuel Luckhurst, you are an idiot for putting it out that early as well. You're meant to be a Man United fan. It was also said at least 2 players were asked by Manchester United employees about the leaking of the team. Both denied being involved. United were insistent on Monday that no formal investigation had been launched into the matter. So 2 players were asked, Amad Garnacho, because the rumours online, faceless Twitter accounts were saying online that it was from Amad and Garnacho, but let's be honest, let's not believe the faceless Twitter accounts online. There's no credibility there. And we know that those were the 2 players investigated by Manchester United. Manchester United have asked a couple of players if they or anyone close to them were responsible for leaking the lineup or ahead of Sunday's derby. Amorim was not happy, and you can't blame him. Laurie Whitwell, one of the best and most credible journalists inside Manchester United, with very good access to the club, said this: the team leaks has nothing to do with Garnacho and not being in the squad against City. That's what he said. Now, he hasn't said anything about Rashford, but I don't know if that's because, obviously, all the leaking news has been around Garnacho. It's not, no one's accused Rashford of leaking stuff. It's all been accounts accusing Garnacho of it. But it has been confirmed Garnacho being dropped was nothing to do with the leaks. And as far as we're aware, Garnacho was not the leaker, despite rumours going on. But you can understand the club being annoyed by that. Now, Jim Ratcliffe wants to back Ruben Amorim, and Jim Ratcliffe, I think, is enjoying Ruben Amorim's ruthless approach, dropping players. He's very much going to back this. If he's ruthless with the staff, he's going to apply that to the players. And I said he's being very ruthless with the staff, Jim Ratcliffe, and I don't agree with the Christmas party being cancelled and small things like that. But if he's going to be that ruthless with the staff, he's got to be ruthless with the players, because at the end of the day, the staff Christmas party was cancelled because the players are massively underperforming, and that's not fair. Now, this was said. Sir Jim Ratcliffe views that previous managers have attempted to a revolution but were hampered by a lack of support, and that this is detrimental, will be aligned from top to bottom. They've made it clear enough that they're going to support Ruben Amorim and who he wants gone, who he wants in, and backing the manager to make sure he's successful. And I think Erik ten Hag had a bit more support than previous Manchester United managers. But if you look at the support Man United managers have got, how when we're crying out for someone in January, the Glazers wouldn't spend. INEOS want to be different, and there is talk that INEOS are ready to spend quite big in January. It was said when assessing Amorim's candidacy after Ten Hag's sacking in October, Ratcliffe was impressed by the Portuguese willingness to address the level of change required. One thing we know about Ruben Amorim is before he even got the Man United job, he probably had an idea of 5 players that were going to be key, 5 players he wanted gone, and he probably had an idea that he's going to change up lots of the squad and told INEOS that. And I think Ruben Amorim will be getting rid of a lot of Manchester United players over the next 2 seasons. I think INEOS are more than willing to let him do that. It was said that Erik ten Hag's schoolmastery tone, lack of empathy, and core communication skills combined with wretched results and glaring gaps between midfield and defence made a major role in INEOS' decision to sack him, according to James Duck with The Telegraph. And one of the biggest impacts of Ruben Amorim coming in is apparently he's a really good communicator with the squad. He's got everybody on side, even though there was some not disciplinary issues, but even though there was some issues with Garnacho and Rashford yesterday being dropped. They were training and seeing Amorim in the morning of the derby. They seem to all be getting on, despite rumours. Every player sort of buying into Ruben Amorim. He communicates his tactics well, he connects with the players well, and there's been a lot of positivity around him. In terms of Ashworth, because of the Ashworth sacking, it was said that he left by mutual consent. However, the working relationship between Ratcliffe and made Ashworth's role untenable. Apparently, he didn't have the best relationship with Ratcliffe, and it looks like Jim Ratcliffe is very brutal. It looks like if you don't get on with him, he wants you gone. If you're underperforming, he wants you gone. And is it Ruben Amorim that's decided to potentially get rid of Marcus Rashford, or could it come higher up from Jim Ratcliffe? Because we know how he acted on Ashworth. He's not a patient man. He was the one that kind of pushed the decision for Ten Hag to go. He was the one to do that. And could he be the one to push on? He was maybe the one to push on Dan Ashworth to go so early. And could he be the one to push on Marcus Rashford? Because I think that Jim Ratcliffe has a bigger say than maybe some of us first thought. And last but not least, it was said that Harry Maguire is not considering leaving the club despite interest from several other clubs. Additionally, Amorim has discussed with Jason Wilcox the possibility of United taking up an option on Maguire's contract. If he can stay fit and take a wage cut, I'd do it because I think he could be good under Amorim, but on his wages as well. To be a bit part player, that's quite a big ask. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.